What up, what up? This is Ray Grand, your host, and you're listening to The Ray Grand Show, where we talk about redefining a disability and overcoming. I've been paralyzed from 22 years from bacterial spinal meningitis. I know a few things. That's right. Thank you for listening, and let's get to it.
Good day, people. This is Ray Grand, and this is the Ray Grand Show. Today we have a special guest, Ellice Patterson. That's right, from Boston, Massachusetts, my old stomping grounds. Ellice is an artist, a dancer. Everybody knows Ellice, and if you know her, she is a performer, a disability advocate, and I want you to meet her and get to know her and the things that she do, because you need to know Abilities Dance. She's the executive director and founder. How are you doing today, Ellice?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm blessed and highly favored. So Ellice, the people want to know, why did you start Abilities Dance? And I looked personally at some of the dances and I was blown away, because I was dancing since I was a child and I know how to move. I listened to Michael Jackson and I could, beat it. And I had the legs and I was moving really, really, really well. So tell me, why did you start Abilities Dance, and why did you, I'm asking two questions at one time. Where did you find that love to dance, and what was your, why did you choose dance as your passion?
I've been dancing off and on since I was 4, and I felt like dance wasn't an option for me later in life. And so when I tried to get back into it, I couldn't find spaces that were for me. Either the buildings themselves weren't accessible, or teachers or choreographers didn't really know how to adapt or want to adapt. So I just figured I would create that space for myself. And since then, it's grown well beyond just for me, but for so many of the folks in the community and outside of the community to kind of have the space to put in good work.
Okay. So someone like me that's in a wheelchair, T12, that wanted to learn not learn how to dance, but visualize myself dancing and getting involved in a community, how would I go about doing that?
Well, for us, you could join our education program where we teach adaptive techniques in ballet and modern and contemporary to all ages, kind of one-on-one with our great teachers that really adapt and work with you to figure out kind of what is your first position in ballet, for instance, and kind of developing and refining that technique. And then in a few years, kind of decide if you want to move into like a more professional world and adapt from there.
Okay, so you say like the more professional world. So you had a love for dance at 4 years old. Walk me through that process. So for example, my first love was basketball. However, I love to dance. So if I would describe basketball, I would say that basketball is like listening to classical music and painting a picture that when I play my opponent, it's war. However, I'm making a masterpiece. My opponent is going to know I'm the best on this court, and I'm going to control what I can control, and he's going to know that I am better than him. And when I win, he's going to know. When I shoot that three-pointer, swish. He can't hold me. He can't guard me. I'm the best because that basketball is a part of me. So how would you describe dancing at 4 years old? Like what made you fall in love with dance, and what is the relationship with Ellice and dancing?
I think as a child, dance was just a fun way to move and a way to learn how to do all these cool things with my body. And growing up and as an adult, it shifted into kind of telling stories within myself. It's just how can I utilize different aspects of my body or my mobility aids to tell the stories that I want to tell that I haven't seen in this area. And then in group settings or choreography, with multiple people, thinking about connection in different ways. It can be a romantic connection. It can be a more family type of vibe. It can be opposition, and even in opposition, there's still connection there. And so thinking about how do I want these people to connect on stage and show that different diverse bodies are connecting in that way.
I love that. I love how you said telling a story, like say story of romance. And I think as human beings, our deepest desire is to love and to be loved. And one thing about basketball, I believe, for me at least, it's a universal sport and it brings people together as well as music. So what music would you dance? So is it classical? Is it hip hop? And what type of dance? Is it ballet? Can you paint a pictures for the listeners and myself? What does that look like? So for me, when you said like connection and telling a story, like when I see dance, I like the romance between the man and the woman, and how the man takes the lead, but the woman can also take the lead. And then there's like this motion and flow of this positive energy, but it's like love and sensual in such a way where it's just so like appetizing. As you can tell, I love music as well, but I love sound and I love feeling. I'm a feeler, I feel. I feel deeply. You can ask my wife. My ex is like, wow, man, you're just so deep. I love your words, the way you describe things. So what music do you listen to? I mean, not listen to, dance to, and what stories does Ellice tell when she dances, and why? And why do you tell those stories, and how do you connect with those stories? And what story are you telling the audience when you perform them?
Wow. Your first question about music, our director of music, Andrew Cho, leads with himself and other composers that create all of our music. So all of our music is original, that is created specifically for that work. And it can be classical, it can be more modern type of sounds, jazz influence, just depending on the piece and the movements that would really have the music elevate that movement. With the stories that I tell, it can definitely vary. I'm inspired by a lot of things, and I also want to tell a lot of stories about my own different identities. I did a show called Chroma last year that was inspired by the women of color in our company, with and without disabilities. And so they all had different colors, like red was my solo with my Wakanda walker, with my blackness and disability. There was one that had more a Chinese classical dancer trained. And so it kind of had those types of movements infused in the work. And so it definitely varies. Just kind of wanting to put these different diverse stories out there so that people can connect with it, they can relate to it, because when they relate to it, then they start to foster some understanding. And then that's when we have serious conversations about making spaces accessible or including different folks in their communities or their workplaces, etc.
Yeah. Let's talk about that disability. I excuse my pronunciation. The advocacy work in the intersectional rights of persons with disability. Because when I watch the videos of the dancing, I can honestly say I don't think about disability when I'm watching it. I just see the power of a person using a prop that is dancing, right? That's my personal opinion. However, we live in a world that is not per se like that, and may have stigmas out there with persons with disabilities. And how does one advocate for someone to live in their passion? Of course, we're talking about dancing. And tell me about that process of starting the abilities dance and those avenues in the fight that you had to go through to actually start this nonprofit. I know from my personal fight and advocating for myself that it just wasn't fair. Like a lot of things wasn't fair, and I found myself uh, advocating for things that should have been like not even a second thought, you know. And so as you can see, that it just so my mind just like goes into so many thoughts. So can you walk me through that process and paint that picture of that, of starting the abilities dance, and how's your style of advocacy, and what was that process for you?
Going back, I wasn't, well, when I wasn't being able to be in the types of spaces that I wanted to be in to be able to perform on a professional platform, which is choreograph and those types of things. And then I also wasn't seeing the stories that I wanted to see, in this area, where I saw disabled dancers in Boston performing on that level or talking about the work they're doing. And so I wanted to create that space. And so just and it was really hard in the beginning in trying to apply for funding. And we were consistently denied for grants because the dancers didn't look disabled or they danced too well to have a disability, or all of these discriminatory comments. And so it took at least a year, and it's still ongoing, of educating different funders and different stakeholders on the work that we're doing, why it matters, why this is kind of dismantling your previously held beliefs, so that we're able to continue to do the work and be judged on the work and not the bodies.
Absolutely. So at least you seem to like a really sweet person. And so how do you dismantle those stigmas, especially when asking for funding? How does that look like? Like for me, I can be pretty direct. And when people talk to me, they're like, wow, this guy means business. He does not play. And I know you graduated from Boston University. You speak very, very well. You articulate yourself in a fashion where it's heard. However, as a woman, African American woman, how what is your style of getting through that hard, if that makes sense?
It's just connecting with folks, normally one-on-one. Occasionally there could be like a boardroom with folks, and just saying that, laying it out. If there had been something direct of saying, you said this is problematic, let me tell you why. Yeah. And just in a very matter-of-fact, kind of calm, and not getting upset over it, because I take it as initially they might not know, so let me have that conversation with you. And then if you still don't know, even though we've had this conversation, then that's a whole other level of no. But in the beginning, just kind of taking it as more of a calm, you don't know about the culture, so let's talk about it.
No, I love that. I love that approach. Just like Dr. Martin Luther King would approach it with love, with patience and peace, and educating the opposite, well, the other race, and just doing it with love, regardless of the situation. And so I definitely admire that. So how long has disability dance been running? And I kind of asked this question already, but like, what was the process of like choosing the music? And like you said, they use classical hip hop. And so what kind of music do the performers dance to now?
We still have a team of composers that create all of our music, custom for each piece. And I really give them free range to play with whatever they're thinking about or feeling in response to the movement or in response to the theme of the piece. So it's really a collaborative approach where we're working together and we kind of have feedback where we go back and forth to figure out how to best elevate the movement through music.
Okay, so how does that look like? So say you're the performer, the dancer, and you choose the music. And so is it like, so for example, so like we're playing basketball, we're dissecting a team. We're looking for like certain details. We're trying to expose different weaknesses in the team, in the opposing team. So like when creating a piece, is it like creating a song? Is it like creating a sculpture, a painting? Like how would you describe creating a piece to present to your particular audience?
It's really what for the choreographer, whether myself or other choreographers in the company, whatever they feel like saying. And that can range from more fun type pieces to more serious type pieces, to stories about slavery, to stories about toxic relationships. We tell so many different stories because we're constantly creating and thinking of different spaces that we can say different things in.
I love that. I love that. So what's the vision you have for abilities dance, let's say like in 5 years?
I say it would continue to grow and continue to partner with amazing institutions.
Can you say that one more time? Sorry, I think I heard.
Yeah, in 5 years, I say that the organization would continue to partner with even more institutions like universities or museums, et cetera, to think about different ways we can push our mission into different spaces, so that this work is more normalized, and it's not just this wild idea. And that the company continues to get paid more. We get our grant funding so that I'm able to pay the artists more, including myself, and just continue to keep going and growing.
No, absolutely. And that's why I created this podcast to create a platform so persons with disabilities to have a voice and understand that there's things in the community that needs to be normalized. Like, for example, there's wheelchair basketball, and dance and tennis and golf and so many other things. And the dance is such an important part because as a human being who doesn't like to dance, even if the person deemed can't dance per se, they would love to watch the dance. I've seen the dancing, and I love it. And I would love for people to know about it and to connect with Ellice and this company, because the things that you're doing in the community is phenomenal and is amazing. And funding plays a major role. And so if somebody wanted to donate, can they go to your website and donate, or how does that process look like?
So abilitiesdanceboston.org/donate. We're 501c3 organizations, so it will be tax deductible. So you can direct donate through there, and it has information about other ways you can support us as well.
Awesome. So thank you, Ellice, for doing this interview. Like, this was truly an honor. Like, you are completely a superstar in your own right. And I'm sure to be a legend, and people will know about you because what you do is not only needed, it's important for the community to see what you do. And when I say the community, I mean the world. And I thank you so much for doing this interview. Is there anything else that you would want to tell somebody that is aspiring to be a dancer that has a disability? Words of encouragement, and if they would want to dance in their community, what advice would you give them to be a dancer instead of getting depressed? Because when I was first paralyzed, dealt with depression and things to that nature. What would you say to that person?
I would say, depending on where they are, see if there might be an integrated company in their city. There are a few out there, like Access in Oakland or Heidi Latsky in New York, et cetera, that teach classes and try to get involved that way. If not, try to talk with their local dance studio and see if they're willing to accommodate and just have that conversation. And it's not going to always be easy, but just figuring out what works for your body and how to keep moving. Or just hit me up if you're in Boston.
I love it. I love it. Words from Ellice. There you have it. Thank you for listening, everybody. Make sure to check out Abilities Dance. And if you're in Boston, make sure you connect with Ellice. Don't give up. Believe in your dreams. Just dance. Make it happen. I will make sure to put the links in the description so you can see the beauty, the art, the stories of dancing. And if you want to dance, hey, just hit me up, connect with me, and we'll have a dance-off, or we'll create a story that the whole world will never, 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 never forget. Make sure you keep a positive attitude, a positive mindset. I love you, and I appreciate you for listening. And this is the Ray Grand Show. Until next time.
Thanks for listening. If you like something that you heard, please leave a review. Oh, one more thing.
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all.
Love y'all.